Hey guys, welcome back. Today on The Untidy Artist, I'll be showing you how to make a witch hat for a doll. If you are new here, welcome. I love teaching how to do different crafty things, including flower fairy doll making, soap making, bath bombs, anything that sounds exciting. I love teaching. I have recently launched some flower fairy kits. This is actually part of my newest kit for 2 witch flower fairy dolls. In this video, I'll be going into exactly how to make the hat for the doll. But if you have your own supplies, or if you have a doll you want a witch hat for, this method will work perfectly for that. I actually have a full tutorial on how to make a witch flower fairy doll. It was the second flower fairy tutorial I ever made. I posted it 7 years ago. I will put a link to that below. My methods are still the same. This is just kind of updated for the hat. One of the biggest questions I get from my followers is where to buy supplies. So I love the kits because it gives you everything you need to make a flower fairy doll. You get these 2 gorgeous flowers to make 2 different witches. Embroidery floss for the hair. You can pick a skin tone and a hair color. And then obviously you're going to get the supplies for the hat, some really pretty glitter, and some crystals that you could also use to decorate the hat. I'll be showing you a fun twisty way that I use the embroidery floss to decorate the top of the hat, so stick around to the end to see that. And with that said, let's get into it. The first thing you're going to need is some black felt. Now, if you've purchased the kit, you're going to get 4 separate pieces of felt, 2 that are plain black and 2 that are sparkly black to make your 2 separate witch hats. You'll need a pattern. The kit actually comes with 2 cardboard circles. One is 3 inches, the other one is 2.5 inches. If you're using your own supplies, you'll want to trace 2 circles, one that's 3 inches and one that's 2.5. The kit also comes with some thread. This is for dressing the doll, and I'm going to show you how I used this to decorate the top of her hat. The additional supplies that don't come in the kit you'll need are a white pencil to trace the pattern, a sharp pair of scissors, and a glue gun. And this is my trusty glue gun set on low because it's much easier to work with the glue. Okay. This is how you make a witch hat. So you're going to take both patterns and lay them on both pieces of the felt and trace them onto the felt. And that's why using a white pencil comes in handy. This is actually one that you use for sewing, but I've used a yellow colored pencil before. Anything light colored that's going to show up on that black, and you're going to trace both of the circles onto your felt, and then you're going to cut them out. So I'm going to do that with both sets of my felt because, once again, we're making 2 hats from the kit. And then go ahead and cut those out. This is why sharp scissors are so nice, because you want a nice clean cut line around the outer edges of your witch hat. So once I've cut those out, I'm going to do the same thing for my other felt. So now I've got a total of 4 circles. And then we're going to grab our pattern, and I'm super awkward in this part. All you have to do is fold it in half and fold it in half again to create an X in the middle, and then we're going to cut one of those pie-shaped pieces out. And then we're going to place that on top of our felt. And this is the 3-inch piece. So using that bigger piece of your pattern, and then we're going to cut that little pie shape. After we've traced it onto the felt, we're going to cut that out. Be really careful not to cut through as you're cutting what looks kind of like Pac-Man. You don't want to cut through too much because then your hat won't be very pointy. So make sure that that's a nice clean cut, and then you're going to wrap that felt around itself to create a cone. So we've got that inside flap and the outside flap, and here is an up close of that. So you can see that outside flap, I've just looped it around to create a cone. There's my inside flap, and then I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to glue that outer flap and gently place it around to create the cone. And if at any point you get glue somewhere, the glue gun really likes to show up on black. So if you ever get any weird glue, you can always use a hairdryer to kind of heat it up and melt it. So here are both of my little cones. And then I'm switching to my sparkly felt. And I'm going to fold it in half and in half again. And what we're doing is cutting an X into the center of our circle. So this is the smaller circle. And I'm just folding that in half again. And I'm cutting up maybe almost a ½ inch. We're doing this so we can put the hat actually on her doll. So after I've done that, I'm going to cut another notch into each of those 4 corners. So we have what looks like a star. So you have a total of 8 separate cuts into the center of the smaller circle. Then I'm going to grab my glue gun and I'm going to carefully line the base of the hat, the base of the cone, and then we're going to place it and make sure it's nice and even right in the center of our smaller circle of felt. And press it down, let that glue kind of set for a second, and gently push the inside flaps up into the inside of the hat. If you do need to add more glue, you just flip it upside down. You can see there's some of the glue. I'll be using my hairdryer to melt, and you won't even notice it. And so you can take those little flaps, grab your glue gun, and add a tiny dab of glue. You don't need a lot to press that up inside the hat. And ta-da! We have a witch hat. I actually think these would be really cute if you were having a Halloween party to set around the table as decorations, or if you do a Halloween tree. These would be super cute decorations on your Halloween tree. Okay, so this is how I decorate the top. I'm going to do a little rope braid situation that we're going to wrap around the base of the hat. So I've taken 2 pieces of my thread. They both measured about 16 inches long. I fold them in half, so now we've got 4 strands of the thread tied a knot in the top. This is some tape to make life easier as I'm twisting this. And I'm going to separate the purple. So I've got the purple on the left and the black on the right. And now what I'm going to do is twist them both to the left, and then I twist them together to the right. So you can see I've twisted those both to the left. And now I'm going to take them and twist them together to the right. And this creates our rope braid. This is actually one of my favorite hairstyles to do for a flower fairy doll. And I will put a link for that hairstyle below. I actually think it would be really cute for a witch because it's nice to have a hairstyle that either is pigtail braids, which will also be linked below, something that's not high on her head because you want that hat to sit nicely, and I think a rope braid would be really cute. You'll want to twist it further down than you'd think you'd need, and once I get to the bottom, I just take a little bit of glue that's on the tip of the glue gun, and I just press that into the bottom. You could also tie a knot in the bottom, but I just think this looks cleaner and isn't as bulky on top of her hat. So this is our cute little twisty thread situation. I'm going to trim off the top after making sure that knot is super tight. I'm putting a tiny dab of glue on the knot. I'm placing it at the back where the seam is of the hat. And then we want to make sure that it's long enough, so wrap that around. So here's an up close. You can see if you put it on the back where the seam is, then that can be the back of her hat, so the front is nice and clean and beautiful. So after I wrap it around, I'm taking another tiny dab of glue, pressing that thread into the back so the ends meet up, and then I'm going to trim that off. And once again, if you have any glue that's showing, you can use a hairdryer to melt that glue so it won't show. And that's it, guys. What do you think? I'd love to know in the comments below. I had so much fun making this witch fairy. I love the glitter combination on this doll. You can see her cute pigtail braids. I think she's so darling. Whether you are using your own supplies or you purchase a fairy kit and you're using supplies from the kit, I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you have any comments or questions, please post those below. You'll find other flower fairy kits in my Etsy shop. I have a beautiful angel and different seasonal flower fairies. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Once again, I would appreciate that so much. It helps me out a lot. Thanks you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.